This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by Boxing Hall of Fame promoter Frank Warren here in Saudi Arabia. Frank, always a pleasure. How you doing? You look very suave today.
Really? I felt I looked pretty scruffy, but yeah, all good. All good, thank you, young man.
Frank, obviously we've just had Mr. Lennox Lewis walk in, the current fight, most recent undisputed heavyweight champion. Kind of a passing of a torch moment for him come Saturday night. What's it like there catching up with him?
It's really good. I mean, such a knowledgeable guy, such a nice person, and it's a pleasure being in his company.
He's backing Tyson to come out on top. When you have somebody like Lennox with those words, with those thoughts, does it just kind of reinstill or kind of back up the confidence within yourself?
Well, we were talking about it at the table. I mean, look, everybody's got an opinion, and at the end of the day, opinions mean nothing. It's what happens on the night. But I do genuinely believe that Tyson, in the shape he's in his frame of mind, and the skill set that he's got against a very skillful boxer who's also in great shape and undefeated like Tyson, I just feel he's going to be the man.
The shape's an interesting comment. Obviously, I've seen John Fury's comments about he feels Tyson might come in towards a career lightest, and he does look in very good nick, but a lighter than what we're used to seeing him of most recent fights. Do you feel like that's for benefit of him to come in light?
I think speed's going to be important in this fight. Look, Tyson's quite a fast heavyweight anyway. For a guy of his size, I can't think of any other heavyweight of his size who's got such great footwork, is so light on his feet. And this is important in this fight because he's in with a guy, obviously, who should be quite a move. You know, will move quite well. But you know, he knows. Tyson's a clever guy. He knows what he's doing. He's worked this out. This is not a fight he's going into where he doesn't know what the opposition are like or how they box. This is not, you know, like happened with Nagano, which he had a bad night and no one knew what that was going to be like. He knows him. He studied Usyk. And he really believes that this is going to be his fight, and I agree with that.
Oleksandr Usyk feels that Tyson coming in light is because he's nervous, and he's also said on the DAZN stream when, I think it was the DAZN stream because there's a few obviously going on, when Tyson came on for his grand arrivals, he looked skinny.
Well, he looks cut. He's been in back-to-back training camps since late December, and you know it's not like he had a fight. He got a cut more or less at the end of the training camp. He took 3 weeks out and back into camp, so of course he's going to look lean. You know, there was no fight in between, but I wouldn't read anything to that. You can't win with Tyson. It's like, oh, he's overweight. Look at him. He looks out of shape. Oh, he looks lean. He's in shape. I mean, you know, do me a favour. We all know he knows better than you, me, or anybody what shape he needs to be in. What is he now, 30, 35 years of age? He is an exponent of the art of boxing. He is the exponent of finding people's weaknesses inside the ring and outside the ring. And he knows what he's doing, and I have every confidence in his ability and what the game plan is for him to win this fight.
It was an interesting point you made there, Frank, of people will pick up on he come in heavy, people criticise him, come in light, people criticise him. Eddie's done the same with AJ, where kind of he stuck up for him after defeats. I know Tyson obviously hasn't had any defeats, but people quick to jump on his back despite his accomplishments. Do you feel like with Tyson, people might appreciate him more when he's left for sport?
I don't agree with any of that. What I don't agree about that, Andy, is that people do appreciate him. He's had 3 books all gone to #1. People only bought the book because they appreciate him. Why would you buy the book otherwise? He's had a series that's been, I think it's the top watch Netflix series in Britain. Why would they watch that if they don't appreciate him? He fought at Wembley against Dillian Whyte. We won the purse bids for that fight against Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte didn't even show up at the press conference. We had over 400,000 people in the queue waiting for tickets. We could have sold 400,000 tickets day one without all the build up to it. It broke all box office records at Wembley, not just for boxing, for any event. Spurs fighting Derek Chisora, who he's already beaten twice. 60,000 tickets sold like that. People don't. December the 8th, freezing, could have snowed the following week. People don't appreciate him. Of course they appreciate him. What it is, there's certain sections of the press that don't like him, and they don't like him for some of the things he said in the past, but. You know, Muhammad Ali, some of the things that he said when he was young, when I was around, when I was a kid, he came out with some really bad stuff. But as he got older, Muhammad Ali. He became a man of peace. He became a man of bringing people together. And what's happened with Tyson, which I feel sort of goes under the radar a bit, is that he is bipolar. And he suffers from that. And so if he says, like I was saying to an interview earlier, if he says, I want to retire today, because he got up and that's how he feels, why shouldn't he? And if he says, in 3 months' time, I want to come back again, why shouldn't he? I'd much rather he does that 3 months later than 3 years later. Why shouldn't he do that? That's his choice. That's not, it's not games or anything. That's how he is. And I just don't get it. And I mean, when I was asked about his retiring, I said, if he retires, he retires. We'll find out in due course. But the bottom line of all of it is he is a very strong person, both physically and a very strong person mentally. And that's what he's going to bring into the ring. And people will appreciate him, and they do appreciate him now. What I would like to see is some of the guys who constantly criticise him in the newspapers, who keep harping on about things like that stuff about the boar incident, with a meet and that, and one journalist in particular keeps going on about this farmer. So what about this farmer? What did he do? He didn't do, what was the proof in what he said? Because he says it was true. I know it was bullshit because they wrote to me and asked me for money, and I told them to F off and go to the police. And if I was any concerned about that, and if I was that way inclined, I would have given him a few quid. But no, because it didn't. That's not what happened. It was somebody trying to get money. And, you look at that, and there has been his ups and downs, but that's life. And he was a young man, and he's not a young man. Those things happened when he was young. He's now, he's now a grown man, and he works hard. And he works hard for his family. He works hard for the sport. He enjoys the sport. He's a boxing man. That's what he is. He's an exponent of boxing, top heavyweight in the world, and which I'm sure he's going to confirm on Saturday. And not only that, he's a boxing historian. He studies it. He's boxing through and through.
Frank, during your answer there, so you touched on kind of the battles he's had outside of the ring in terms of his mental health and what have you when he takes time away. Do you feel like at the minute when he's just talking about Usyk, the rematch, what could be next, fighting back in Saudi Arabia, this is the most mentally prepared Tyson's felt going into a fight?
All that's irrelevant. All that matters is Saturday night. That's all that matters. To me, it means nothing. And he is prepared. Both these fighters are at their best. They're at their peak. They're both undefeated. It's not like the young guy fighting the old champion and the baton's being passed on. They're at their peak. First time this century. 4 belts on the line. That's what we've got, which is something extra special. It's the biggest fight in world boxing. The biggest fight this century. Because it's the blue ribbon division. The heavyweight champion of the world has always been one of the most, if not the most, famous athlete on the planet, or person on the planet. One of the people up there with all the big names, going back to John L. Sullivan, to Dempsey, to Tunney, all those guys, all the way through. Joe Louis, to Marciano, to Ali, Foreman Frazier, Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis. You can keep going through them. They're known everywhere. The winner of this fight, that's who that's going to be. They're going to be, and this is so important for our sport, so important for sport that everybody knows who it is. And these guys are at their best. And so whoever wins it, I hope everybody says, you beat the best. There's a debate who's number 1 and who's number 2 out of the two of them. I believe Tyson's number 1, and we will find out. But whoever wins it, he is the best heavyweight on the planet. He's the baddest man on the planet.
When we was going around and doing the predictions earlier, Frank and everybody was being asked who do you think going to win, Tyson or Oleksandr, I think it ended up about 8-5 in favour of Tyson, but then a few people suggested they would not be surprised if a draw was to take place. What would be your thoughts if a draw was to be the outcome, and where would things be left in terms of the rematch clause? Would that still be valid with a draw?
If there were a draw, that depends, I would think there would be a rematch. I'm sure there would be that, because you'd want to still see who is the number 1. But, as it stands at this moment in time, for me, Tyson's the winner. I believe he'll win the fight. I believe he'll dominate the fight. And I believe he has the ability to stop Usyk, become the first person to do that.
Just final one from me, Frank. Obviously, it got very heated on Monday at the media day, and we saw obviously John Fury have an altercation with Team Usyk. What were your thoughts on it, and what did Turki El Sheikh and those in the higher up positions here in Saudi Arabia have to say about it?
He wants to see that. That's the camps all getting excited, and it should reflect on the fight. The fighting's done in the ring. That stuff outside the ring, I didn't see it. I was inside. We were doing it. Oh, it was with you, yeah. We didn't. And when it come out, somebody said it to me, and they showed me some of the. It was like pretty scrappy video because it was right at the moment they showed me, and I could see John had a cut. It was unfortunate. It's wrong. The good thing is that they've all apologised to each other. They shook hands, and I hope that's the end of it. It will be the end of it. All we want to do is see the guys fighting around. I don't want nothing distracting from this fight. This fight is what it's all about. This fight is a big moment in sport. This is the biggest fight a British fighter's ever been involved with. Financially, probably in the world. Financially, the belts being on the line, all of it. Britain. When I grew up, British heavyweights, none of them. Henry Cooper, Bugner, all of them. You look over them over the year, Richard Dunn, all of them. They all fought for world title. None of them won it. Now our little island's been very strong in the heavyweight division, and this will be the planting of the flag this century. We have the best heavyweight in the world, and we've got some great ones coming through. And Lennox done it before in the last century, and Tyson can do it in this century.
Frank, it's a pleasure to catch up with you. Very pumped up now, so it's good to see you in good spirits. Cheers, Frank.